Welcome back to Featured Films, guys. My name's Joe. In this one, we're talking about the spoilers for My Hero Academia Heroes Rising. I loved this movie. It was so cool just having Bakugo and Midoriya just be like the two front guys, and they owned this movie. Like, they were so cool in it. Obviously, the characters are amazing, but just little things with, Midoriya being just a kinder, softer, gentler hero, and just kind of trying to always, keep that smile and save everyone. And then Bakugo is just obviously wild. He's a madman, and he's just constantly looking to fight the villains in this movie. He actually runs into one of the villains, gets in a fight, gets snagged up with these bandages, and the bandages kind of control his body, and he eventually gets so mad he just basically explodes himself. He blows up he blows himself up and frees himself from the bandages, and it destroys one of his little wrist pieces of equipment, like grenade launcher things, whatever they are. Then he actually beats that villain and then flies off to go fight another villain. Like, everyone's like, hey, where are you going? He's like, I'm just going. Like, and he just runs off in typical Bakugo style. Him and Midoriya are going back and forth. They're, double teaming, these villains go, and they just, like, they can't get an edge on this guy. Nine, he's a little bit like All For One, and he has the ability to absorb and take quirks. He can only have up to 9 of them, though, so hence the name 9. And he's out looking for this specific quirk to basically heal and regenerate himself, because the quirks are like slowly kind of attacking and deteriorating him and killing him, and so he's trying to get that so that way he can heal himself and kind of become immortal, and then that way he can take over the world. He's got some pretty serious powers, though. He can just like bring down and summon lightning and just strike things. He lays waste to like entire cities in moments. It's pretty crazy. He's really powerful. He can also like make these air shields and stop and reflect things, and he's basically got like an impenetrable defense that way. He has this weird like skeleton dragon thing that comes out, and he can move these dragons around. Like, he's got finger lasers that shoot out. He's got a lot of cool powers, and definitely, gives some struggle to everyone. He at one point tries to steal Midoriya's quirk, and when he does, he gets a flash of all the previous owners and realizes he can't take the quirk because there's too many of the previous owners, and he doesn't have enough space with his quirks, because I think he has like 6 at the time, so he can't take the quirks, and it just ends up kind of falling flat, and then he just blasts Midoriya away. Bakugo's got cool moments in this too. He, with all of his different moves, obviously he's a great fighter, but there's a scene where there's a little boy in the movie who's talking to Midoriya and kind of apologizing because him and his sister were trying to test the heroes and see if they were actually heroes or if they were just going to ignore problems. And so he was apologizing to Midoriya and told Midoriya to, make sure to apologize to Bakugo. Bakugo's within earshot of everything. He's just sitting there listening, and there's this whole conversation, and by the time it goes back to Bakugo, you see he's kind of like looking over his shoulder listening, and his popsicle actually like is dripping and then like falls apart because he was just waiting for so long. And you see Bakugo, though he's got this harsh exterior and he's just crazy and constantly screaming and how he's going to murder everything, he's actually really thoughtful and caring and wants to be the greatest hero. Now, there are other fights. There's Chimera. He's actually one of the villains that is there with Nine, and he's a mix of all these different beasts, and he's crazy powerful. He's got wings and he looks like a wolf, but he's got like bird talons and lizard tail, and he can breathe fire. Like, he's really, really powerful. And Todoroki and several others are all, going at this guy at the same time, and they can't bring him down. And the first time they all lose this fight against him, and the villains actually retreat and kind of gather up, and then the heroes, they kind of get together, get a plan, and then the next time they come across Chimera, the same four fight him, and it's really kind of cool because Todoroki gets just this one awesome moment in the movie, which is a little sad because he's such a cool character, but he has this flashback of when Endeavor was talking about increasing the heat in his body to such a critical point and basically trying to teach him how to do prominence burn. And instead he channels that same idea into his ice, and he reaches down and blasts this ice into Chimera's mouth, and it just fills him, and he just keeps filling him with ice until he completely freezes over, and there's icicles shooting out of him everywhere. And it was a pretty awesome scene. I really wish that they gave Todoroki more because, again, he's such a cool character. I really do like him, and I'm excited to see where he's going to go, in the manga and anime. Now, other than Chimera, there is the one other villain. I believe her name is Slice, and she has hair that can become blades or needles, and she can shoot them out. And she ends up fighting Tokoyami and Ashido. They have a bit of a fight, and they end up in a cave. She hurts Ashido pretty bad, and so Tokoyami just kind of loses it, and Dark Shadow just goes wild and gets huge and just kind of starts lashing out and attacking. They beat this girl down and end up actually caving in the roof on themselves, and that's where their battle ends. That kind of brings us to the finale, which was so cool. Bakugo and Midoriya just going back and forth. They're just putting everything out there, and it gets to a point to where they're losing and they have nothing else they can do, and they're all out of ideas. The villain is just beating them. He's gone through this transformation. He's got these purple crazy butterfly wings, and he's got this giant fire tornado just summoned on this island, just destroying everything. It's pretty wild. And then Midoriya makes the call, and he actually passes One for All to Bakugo. They reach out, touch each other's fingers because they're, cut and damaged. So Midoriya's DNA gets there, and then they basically both go One for All 100%. And get that cool spiky-haired Super Saiyan-esque transformation. They have electricity all over them. They're just revved up, and they just both look completely awesome. And they both just have these killer looks, and their eyes, they have this, they're like diamonds, and then they've got electricity all around them. Then they just go all out, and they basically have 2 times the One for All. And they just destroy this guy, and it is an amazing scene. I really, truly loved it. It's visually ridiculous. It blew me away. Just the combos they kept doing, the way that the camera and everything moved, I loved it. It was so cool. If you haven't gone to see the movie, definitely do it. If you did see the movie, let me know what you thought down below. I'm really interested to talk. I loved this movie so much. And as always, like, comment, subscribe. Everything helps. And you all have a great day.